Once upon a time, there was a great old king. Once the king decided to divide and distribute his kingdom among his 3 daughters. This is the way we tell an old story. An old story requires the simple past tense format of a verb. And in the simple past tense format of the verb, we find that the action of the verb is completed in the past tense, and it may not have any present time relevance except for add story and a piece of information. That's all. Sometimes we confuse between past simple tense and present perfect tense. In both the cases, one thing is very common. That means the operation of the verb takes place in the past time. But in the simple past tense, the action of the verb may not have any present time relevance, whereas in the present perfect tense, the action of the verb must have some relevance in the present time. And that is why present perfect tense is not past tense, it is present tense. Good morning, everybody. This is session number 28 of Basic English course of the Language Mantra channel. We are discussing simple past tense today. Like the present tense, the past tense too has 4 types: simple past or past indefinite tense, 2 past continuous tense, number 3 past perfect tense, and number 4 past perfect continuous tense. Let us concentrate on simple past tense now. Simple past tense requires the past tense format of a verb. Every verb must have a past tense format. So let's see the formation of verbs in the English language. We have already discussed this part in session number 25. Something that we must remember, that there are 3 groups of verbs. One is called regular verbs. They take ed for their past tense formation. Then irregular verb, there are certain changes of vowel sounds and sometimes some consonant sounds. And third group actually do not change at all. So first group is easier, and actually more than 80% of verbs in the English language belong to this regular group. So you don't have to worry much about those things, but other verbs you must have to know individually. That is a problem, but you give some time, it is not that difficult, you can remember it. Now let's see the application of simple past tense formation. So we have examples here. Number 1, talking about a single act completed in the past tense. A single act that is completed in the past tense. Maybe in the present time, it is not more than an information or memory. So example, I lived in a jungle for a month in 1998. I lived in a jungle. For a person, of course, this is a very strange experience that he lived in a jungle for a month. So this is written in the past tense, simple past tense format. Number 2, Bobby invited me to attend his marriage ceremony. Bobby is my friend, maybe. He invited me to attend his marriage ceremony. I accepted his invitation. I went there. I had my dinner with other invitees, and that ends there. There is no other relevance of this particular act. So invited here and lived here, these 2 verbs are simple past tense format. We use it to give some idea of a past action that took place in the past time and that ended there. Number 2, past habitual action that no longer occurs. Past habitual action. In the present tense we discussed something like this. Habitual action in the present time. So this is exactly the same thing. Habitual action in the past time. For example, I walked almost 10 kilometers. I walked almost 10 kilometers daily during my college days. During my college days, I walked. That means I used to walk. This is another format. Used to. But in place of used to, simple past tense format is possible. So I walked about 10 kilometers daily during my college days. Number 2 example, Jim could come to meet his mother every weekend. Jim could come, or Jim just came to meet his mother every weekend. So this is a habitual action. He used to do it regularly. So an action that was or an action that had some regularity in the past time, that comes within the definition of habitual action in the past time. Now, number 3, old stories, historical incidents, popular anecdotes, etc. We sometimes, tell of old stories, anecdotes, popular saying, etc. All these can be expressed in terms of simple past tense format. For example, the Pandavas lost the gamble and accepted the life of an exile. The Pandavas, we know the story of the Mahabharata. Pandavas lost a game of dice and they had to accept the life of exile. This was the condition there. So when we talk about the story of the Pandavas, we use simple past tense format. I came, I saw, I conquered. I came, I saw, I conquered. This is ascribed to Julius Caesar. After a great victory, he said this. Vini vidi vici. Vini vidi vici. That means I came, I saw, and I conquered. So you see, simple past tense format is being used here to describe stories or historical incidents or even anecdotes and say great sayings. Then number 4, an action begins just a while ago and continued till now. Almost this is very much present tense, not at all past tense. Maybe in that case also we can use simple past tense format. Here I give you an example that will make it more clear. I came to ask for your support for the cause of the street dog. Somebody has come to my place and he says, I came to ask. It is not that he came, he has come. Actually, he has come to ask me something, for something. So I came to ask for your support for the cause of the street dogs. So why came? It's because he wants to be polite, number 1, and maybe he is not very confident that I would help him. Maybe some sort of hesitation is there that makes him speak like this. Another example. Sir, we wanted to know if you could give some suggestions. We wanted to know if you could give some suggestions. What is this? We wanted to know, not that the question. Question is, we want to know. They have come to know. So this is very much present tense, but in spite of that, they use said, we wanted to know if you could give some suggestions. Again, the same interpretation. Maybe it's a polite form of expression, or maybe they do not have that confidence. They may be hesitating, or maybe they are not very much sure that they would get the help. That's why the tense format is being changed here. Now, same thing we are coming the point number 5, as polite and deprecatory form of address. There are two options. It may be polite, and again it may be deprecated also. So simple. Could you give your telephone number, please? This is the most simple question or a request. Could you give your telephone number, please? What? Was this the kind of response I expected? What? Was this the kind of response I expected? He means what? Is this the kind of response I expect? But in the past tense. Why? Because he is not happy. He is angry. So when I want to be polite, then past tense format comes. Again, when somehow I am very angry or I am dissatisfied, I give vent to my dissatisfaction. That is also possible. Now number 6. Using with if or wishing imaginary and unreal things. This is very simple. We use with if. The if word is there. Sometimes when we use if and if there is something imaginary, in that case simple past tense format is applicable. Example, if I were a king, I could buy the entire island. If I were a king. Thing is that I am not a king. It's an imaginary probability. So if I were a king, I could buy the entire island. Second example is almost the same. I wish I had enough opportunities here. I wish I had enough opportunities here. And in reality, there is not many opportunities here. So we are speaking of some imaginary situation or say unreal situation. In that case, simple past tense operates well. So these are the areas of operation. We can confidently use simple past tense form, and that would give your English a real English touch. You need not worry about anything else. Now this is all that we have mainly. You can of course have some question forms and negative forms. We have done those things before, but I give an example. Say the Pandavas lost the gamble. Did the Pandavas lose the gamble? This is question mark. If you want to make it negative, simple. Pandavas did not lose the gamble. In that case, what happens? We use an auxiliary verb, helping verb, and that helping verb change did or did not, and the main verb, it retains its simple or present tense format. That's the most important thing to remember here. So I think this is enough for the day. So you have a look, you view it fully and try to understand things. And in case you have any query, as usual, I assure you, you will get your answer. So give us likes and dislikes, comment and subscribe. These are the things we repeatedly request you to do. So have a nice time, and we'll be meeting next time. Until then, goodbye.